Hello, making a nice putty video, and I'm wearing I'm wearing Joy Dior on this hand and Aquolina Pink Sugar on this hand. Oh, they're both amazing. Absolutely gorgeous pink sugar. Very, very, very well done perfume. Very delicious. Delicious, and this one is too. They're both amazing, and they go well together. You can mix them together even. But I don't want to do that. I mix my own perfumes. So I really enjoy those creations from the perfumers very much. So I did mix together though. I did mix together Coco Mademoiselle and Dolce & Gabbana Rose the One. So because at least from those perfume oils that I got, the perfume oil maker, they made those two kind of faint almost a little bit, as it was a little bit faint. So, and they are quite similar. So I ended up, first I used it individually for a while, really like them, but then I ended up punching them together, and because I only got small samples, and in order to make more of it, so I put those together in an ounce, and I also added some stuff like gourmet vanilla oil that I bought, and some individual scent notes that I bought. So, and I added the stuff that went well with that, like the stuff that's already that I already smell that's in those perfumes, like vanilla, lots of vanilla, put some rose in, I think, synthetic rose. So, and it ended up very well. It's really great how I managed to get that in the end. I put some apple blossom in it. Apple blossoms. Apple blossom oil is amazing, absolutely amazing, from a real nice perfume oil seller somewhere all the way out there in the Midwest. Forgot now the name. I think the name was Candle Making Supplies or something. I think that's what it's called. They they have good prices, and they have great sample sizes. A little bit more. It was like almost like half an ounce, or maybe something like that. Pretty good. And very strong and very amazing, and you have to even add some carrier oil into it to make it a little bit more mild. So, and that's really great, it's really good. So with those I figured out that if I use 50% carrier oil, it's too stretched, so I have to use like 10 to 20% carrier oil, and then it should be good. But maybe just 10% of the carrier, just a little bit, to make it a little bit more mild on, also more mild on the skin, of course. but those are really strong, pretty neat. I also had to add a little bit to the Aquolina too. I added some gourmet vanilla into this as well, but it actually enhanced it. So, oh, it's amazing. Didn't even change the scent very much. It just it enhanced it. It made it stronger, and it made more of it, of course, because I had only had a small sample of that, and there was like a 30.3 ounce sample, and I added that into a 1 ounce roller bottle, and then I added the vanilla oils into it and a little bit carrier oil, and so that's how I filled it up to 1 ounce, and came out wonderful. Still smells the same, but smells even a little bit more gourmand because of more vanilla in it. So it's really, really, really wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. And then I did lots of experimenting with my own creation of the individual notes, and I came out with some amazing perfumes. Oh, so delicious. Delicious. Absolutely enjoy it. Very strong also. So it's nice and warm here still in the afternoon upstairs, so this is good. I had last night I got cold in my neck as I was doing the internet when it was getting colder, and then I had severe tension in my neck last night, so that's why I'm wearing this piggyback scarf. It's really a hoodie, so that keeps my neck warm. It's kind of nice. I was researching hot springs, wild hot springs. So we want to eventually explore all of those places. So, and I want to talk about gaslighting. So, what is gaslighting? That's a term that is used a lot in psychology, and it means first of all, this the history of it. Where does it come from? It comes from a movie. I think it was an Alfred Hitchcock film. So a very old movie, somewhere made in the 60s or something. And the story is there's a couple, they're like in their 30s, and the lady is quite sensitive, and they're wealthy, and I don't know why the husband wants to make her crazy. I think had to do with greed or something, some kind of greed plot. So they used to have. I already told you I'm making a video. I told you not to interrupt. I can say I'm making video. I can say it 10 times. I'm making video. Don't interrupt. Are you making a video? His mind is not on others. His mind is always 10,000 miles per hour in his own bubble. That's what it is. It's not on other people. Me making videos, actually he doesn't even like it, so he doesn't mind if he interrupts. And all of this I feel like I feel violated with that. Uh, This is how it is. I feel violated. I don't feel respected, you know. When I say this is my only way of talking to someone about these things, because I can't talk to him about it. He's not interested in psychology and philosophy and metaphysics. So I have to use this outlet, this medium, in order to talk about these things to someone, in quotation marks, no? Someone. I don't know if someone even watches my videos. Maybe they do, maybe I don't know. They might not watch the whole thing. I make long videos. So some people ask me to make shorter videos. Well, I'm mainly making this for myself. Okay, that's the whole thing. I'm making this to socialize with someone with my tablet. You know. That's my socialization that I have. I don't have any other No, I don't have any other human-based socialization. I have two friends, Mirka and Sandy, and they're angel souls, and it's wonderful that I met them, and they watch my videos once in a while, and so, and they also have their own lives. You know, I'm not gonna expect them to watch every one of my videos for an hour or something. No, why would I do that? But it's just good to know that I have some friends, you know, they support me, and that feels really good, and that my videos resonate with them, and that they can identify with that, and it makes them feel like they're not alone with their own struggles and stuff, you know. So, and that's what this communication is for, you know, and it means a lot to me, and my husband is in his own bubble and is not interested in this and doesn't want me to make videos. So, but this is my hobby, you know, and it is my therapy also. So it's very important for me to do this. So anyway, gaslighting, and my husband does gaslighting too. He does a lot of gaslighting. You know, he even does gaslighting when it's not even necessary. But that's because it's all unconscious, and that's because that it's it's piloted by his ego. So he's a good person. He's very caring, but neurotic. You know, like the whole world of humans is. We're all neurotic in different forms. So Paul's neurosis is, for me personally, just it's a bit on the margin of tolerance, but it's still within the range of tolerance. So I can handle it. Let's put it that way. It's not easy. I cry a lot, but the next person I meet on the street would, as a friend, would not be tolerable. Okay, or I mean, just a random pick of people here in the area. No, I don't think there's anyone that I could probably live with, so, or handle as a, you know, as a roommate or something. So I don't know. Maybe there are some, but my guess is that this is probably very rare. Even the way Paul is, you know, his personality is already very rare in the range of kindness and respect. So very rare. So he's an animal lover. You know, we have the same views on the world. That's very rare for me to find something like this. And even with him, there's a lot of things I don't agree with, and he doesn't agree with me. So a lot of things. But the basics, you know, the most important things that the most important things about compassion and love. So we share that, and that's what matters. You know, and I deeply appreciate him, and it's good. But yeah, he gaslights sometimes, and it's out of unconsciousness. So there are people, I've heard about people that do a lot of gaslighting in a premeditated sense and in order to gain something. So like to gain money or control over another person. So these kind of things happen. That would be someone I could not tolerate in my life, obviously, you know. And with my parents, well, I know with my brother, he does gaslighting non-stop. With me, I don't know if he does it with other people, probably doesn't. But particular, they do people who are not on the track of mindfulness and introspection, they will by default gaslight someone who is on the track of mindfulness and meditation. So that makes this path so much more difficult to walk on because we encounter permanent resistance from the surroundings, from all kinds of people around us. Could be family members or friends or co-workers, whatever kind of people we meet. So yeah, with my brother it is very unconscious also, and it is an unconscious urge drive that it's like it's an urge drive out of the habits. So in order to I don't know if it's that premeditated or if it's more like an urge drive in order to get from A to B, but in a more unconscious way. So with my mother, it's completely unconscious. It's my mother has what I've observed in her my whole life. She has two personalities, and it's not like a full, complete. It's not a complete dissociative identity disorder, but it goes in that direction very, 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 very much so. She definitely has two distinct characters. The one character is herself, and the other one is the troll. And the troll is a nasty kind of monster, okay? And the troll does tremendous gaslighting all the time. All the time. It's complete unconsciousness. So it's a pathology. Okay? And because of that I do not judge her from a wider perspective. I see that she's a victim herself of her childhood. I don't know what must have happened there. I didn't meet her parents. Her father died before I was born, and her mother died while I was an infant. So I don't have conscious memories, photos only. So with most people, it's probably an unconscious process that when they encounter someone who is on the truth path. You know, he is I'll demonstrate this. He is the truther, and he is the unconscious person. The truther says to the unconscious person, it was hard at work, they were bullying me. And the unconscious person probably might even feel attacked by this statement from the truther, because he himself subconsciously knows that he is one of the bullies. He will disagree with the truther then and say, oh no, I think you're just exaggerating. That's gaslighting. Okay, so that's just one out of billions of examples of what gaslighting is. Okay. The gaslighter is not on the side of the sufferer. So the sufferer is the truther. If you see the truth, you suffer. And you suffer, like I said yesterday in my video, or the day before yesterday. You said you see the truth, and you suffer directly because you suffer from an injustice that you are very conscious of. The denier, the troll, the bullier, the gaslighter person, on the other hand, suffers unconsciously. That's a worse type of suffering. That's a much worse type of suffering. Because when they suffer unconsciously, they're not even consciously aware of any of this. They're just in a perpetual reaction train, reaction act outs, and they don't even know why they react the way they do, and they often don't even notice that they are reacting in that way. With my mother wants to be good, so one time, I told her a couple of years ago, when Kenny was still there and things were still good, when Kenny was in his prime and not suffering, and we were going on long hikes with him, and Kenny had long legs, and our former dog, Great Dane, and things were doing well, and there wasn't, old age, and we put this on the back seat, all of this, the worries on old age and what will happen later. So we were doing very well. We enjoyed every moment. With Kenny, we went hiking. I was singing. I was writing fairy tale stories, and I was really excited about this. Felt good. I have a bunch of those copies on my window here for my fairy tale story, and some quotes in it from Friedrich Nietzsche. And I even composed my own song about Mohammed, the military service dog that his handler was killed by a landmine in Afghanistan, and he got seized by, I think it was the Taliban that seized him, and they held him hostage, the military service dog. And no one knows what happened to him later on. We just know that the Muslims are mean to dogs, and I don't even want to say it. It made me so worried for that dog. And he is Muhammad, and he is the reincarnation of Muhammad, who started the Muslim religion. And it just jumped at me one day, you know, this realization. So I decided I make a song for him, and I felt it, you know. Paul doesn't like the song because it's it has a very Arabic touch to it, but it's the Arabic song music by itself is neutral there. But of course, we will interpret that religion into this type of, you know, I used to love belly dancing music and all of this before I knew more about the Muslim religion and what it contains, the horrors that and the prejudice against some animals that it contains, and I didn't know at that time. So now I know, and now I have moved away from the belly dancing music because of this, because this is so painful for me and so problematic. You know, that religion that there's that naturally I associate the belly dancing music, the Arabic music, and Buran Kachan or Buran Kasan, Buran Kachan, I think. Yeah, and I identified that with this unimaginable suffering, you know, that this religion causes on animals and women and the whole world. And so, but at that time I wrote that song, and maybe I'll sing the song sometime, because it's a song for Muhammad, the military service dog. And we don't know what happened to him, and the song is just an attempt to make people understand who he is and what it means to reincarnate and what it means to shift perspectives from one individual to another in order to learn, in order to see, you know. Some people, they need to see it from their first person perspective in order to understand what it's like to be that other being. So when I told my mother about me singing and that song and all of that, she said real brutally, "Why, you can't sing. We can't sing. Our family can't sing." And I said, "I'm only singing for my own personal hobby. I'm not I'm not going out there trying to make a record or anything, you know, like, or go to America Got Talent or something like that. I would never ever think of such a thing. So I do this because did that because I felt good. I wanted to enjoy my expression. Singing is a deeper expression of how we feel about certain things, particularly if we compose our own songs. And singing the songs by Alexandra Nefedov at that time, a whole lot every day. I was singing her songs, crying. I would have to stop singing because I would end up crying and sobbing so much, because her songs are they're very deep and very deeply touching and very gripping and very sad. That's just infinitely sad. So and my mother was in resistance, the troll was out, and so I finally said to her, "This is very rude of you to say that to me when I'm happy and wanting to sing just for myself." And then in that moment when I said that, she realized it and suddenly realized, and the other personality came out and said, "Oh, I," almost like she's shocked about that someone pointed something out that she would normally not accept. The other personality doesn't, but the troll does. So the other personality, the actual person, came out and said, oh, I'm sorry. And that's when I realized that there are two distinct, separate personalities in her, that she really doesn't want to hurt someone's feelings or be a party pooper or be someone's, some querulant, as they call them in German. Yeah, someone who, a naysayer, or someone who's rude. She doesn't want that. That's the first thing from her mind. That's not the identity that she wants to have. She wants to have the identity of being well liked, and that's all about this please like me. That's particularly when everything is unconscious. So yeah, and I said, okay, well, I needed to tell you that because it does hurt when you tell me that, when you act like this, when you tell me that I can't sing. It's also it's on the same frequency of gaslighting. It's the gaslighting is sort of on the negative spectrum, also negative in terms of it denies something, and the other one is more the aggressor type of, the on the aggressor level of you can't sing. So but it's I would say it's both. It's very related. They're very related, these actions. They're both actions of making the other person not well, making the other person suffer. And with many people in the world that are not on the wellness train that I'm on, the more introspection, the more, I'm looking at things consciously, and most people are not. So someone who's not and who's also sensitive, they will be greatly hurt by someone who will gaslight them, or who will say, well, you can't sing, or you sound like a sick horse. That someone said that to my husband when he was a child. That's even worse. And so all of these things, they contribute to a person feeling very low of themselves and not ever daring to unfold their inner potentials, not even getting into it, not even getting into taking singing lessons or violin lessons or something like this. So that's what happens. It keeps us down. People keep us down. People keep each other down. That's what the ego does. The ego loves that. It can happen in a very unconscious way, and it can happen under the disguise of, I mean well, I just want the best for you, or it can happen in a trollish, direct, hurtful way, in a direct offense. So that happens the most in the world, particularly with teenagers and children. So I see that on the internet. It's very painful to see how they hurt each other. They make a game out of this, how to hurt someone and make someone suicidal. Video games add to this. You know, violent video games doesn't make this any better. It makes it worse. That's why I'm so strongly against violent video games. They make people crazy. So by bullying, you know, direct offenses, insulting, cross-examination type of behavior that I see on the internet. If you say A, this is wrong. If you say B, then you're going to be labeled this. If you say C, then they say, I see, see what you're doing. You are this or that. And so it doesn't matter. It can drive someone out of feeling in charge, you know. So it can drive an unconscious person into madness or into suicide. It's this vicious cross-examination type of thing. It almost feels like they have learned that somewhere. They learned that. I don't know if they learned it from each other or if it's just something that they have naturally, this kind of thing, or if they are actually trained by some kind of corporate boot camp or some kind of corporate, here I give you money if you come to our corporate school, and here I give you money if you bully environmentalists or something like this. So I would not be surprised if it goes to that degree, if the corporate agenda goes to that length of militarizing kids and teenagers against environmentalists and animal rights activists, and doing this type of cross-examination with them, however immature the content of that is, but I see the character of it, you know, and they may have learned that somewhere in some kind of corporate anti-environmental school, maybe by their own church, or maybe through also talk radio, right-wing talk radio and stuff. There are all these modalities that the corporate agenda uses to brainwash people and to get caring people bullied and even drive caring people into suicide. So all of this is happening in the world. I see it. And it frightens me. And I feel very helpless. And I sit there and I go into meditation, and then I say to myself, like I did earlier, I can't do anything about this, you know, breathe. It is what it is. This is what's happening. These things are happening, you know, it's the news talk about it. Jihad is happening, corporatism is happening, bullying is happening, people bullied into suicide is happening, animals suffering, pigs tortured. And I sit there and I see it and I feel so helpless. And in that moment, I just sit with the helplessness. And I cry and I allow it. I allow the helplessness. It helps to even say it loud. I am helpless. I feel helpless. It's important to say I feel helpless. Because sometimes I say I am helpless, and that reinforces it a little bit. So that feeling. So it's better to say I feel helpless. I feel ugly versus I am ugly. You know. So Obviously, I have a good heart, so I'm not that ugly. So to some people, I'm extremely stark ugly. Okay, well, I can't change that. You know, that's what makes me feel better when I'm on the internet, because what makes me feel less self-conscious, actually, because I know that on the internet people have the freedom of turning this video off. If I'm in a live chat with someone or in person talking, that's a different story. Then we put someone else on the spot. Maybe the other person might feel uncomfortable. The other person might not feel like they can so easily just click it off. They might feel obligated to listen to a rant. So that's a totally different situation. And yeah, and if they find me ugly, they will suffer. If they have a conversation with me where they don't want to be directly rude to me, and so where they listen a little longer than they actually wanted to. But on the internet, it is a matter of a split second to turn a video off, okay, and you never have to look back. So, and that's why I feel a little bit better also about, in terms of being ugly, or not being, getting old and having wrinkles and not being dressed according to social code and all of this. So I feel a little bit more comfortable doing all of this on the internet. Then if I go into a store, if I wear rubber boots or have worn rubber boots or big winter boots in the stores in the past, and those winter boots were not up to code, to society, and I saw how people looked at me, and they looked me up and down with a very disapproval facial expression, and a lot of, yeah, dislike, and also snobbishness and arrogance. So for a sensitive person like myself, that's kind of difficult to deal with that. So that's why I am very careful on what I wear when I go into a store or go into public. I mean, I'm still not going to be in tune with what other people expect from someone like myself. They probably, I don't know what they would expect from a person like myself. They would expect, I don't know, to be dressed like Hillary Clinton, or or be dressed like, like the Republican older ladies are dressed. They still show a lot of their old flesh, so yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, I still have good skin, but, and particularly, on my arms and stuff, like, it's not like, it's still normal. It's not completely bad. So, I mean, yeah, we all get older, and eventually it's gonna get wrinkly and all of this. But right now it's not. It's still smooth, and I'm grateful for that. But they're probably they're gonna expect me to wear a dress or something, and that I'm not gonna do. I would feel vulnerable in a dress. I would feel ugly in a dress. I would feel old in a dress. So yeah, my neck, for example, I prefer to hide my neck. I've got warts. So yeah, but, and also I have my own taste. I like to dress in a way that makes me feel comfortable, that makes me feel cozy, that expresses my my color taste, my shape taste. You know, I like fluffy, I mean this fluffy material. I like cotton. I like pink. But I like to also dress in a way that makes me feel safe. So I like to wear cargo pants and work pants, this type of pants, you know, that are always men's pants, because most women's pants on the internet don't fit me. So there are some plus size women's pants. Most of them I don't like. I bought myself two just recently, but I don't like the cut at all. They have these tight legs like they had in the early 80s. I don't like it. It's not my, I mean, I would wear them inside of boots, but, and then it would be okay. But it's not my, I tried it on. It's not, I kept it, but it's not my style. So I'm not into tight fitting pants like this, like completely tight fitting. So it doesn't make me feel safe and comfortable. So in order to feel safe, I have to wear mainly men's clothes. So that makes me feel safe. Probably has to do with my childhood. Probably has to do with unfinished pain, right? So, but I also have divine feminine, of course. You know, I am that. You know, I have that. Like